What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. We've all heard the saying before, maybe from great philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche, or more likely from even greater philosopher Kelly Clarkson. We promote the idea that hardship is just training for resilience. After all, why else would we want to do hard things if not for the character development? We love a good story where struggle leads to triumph. But what about the stories that don't end that way? Take my parents. My dad grew up in Vietnam during the Vietnam War. When he was 18, he fled to the US as a boat person, adrift at sea, starving, and watching his friends die around him. My mom was a poor rural farmer in China, and she spent her childhood laboring relentlessly before coming to America as a mail-order bride. My parents settled in inner-city Los Angeles, my dad operating heavy machinery, and my mom sewing garments for just 10 cents a piece. Burglars would rattle the bars on our windows at night, testing for a way in. But my mom was ever the entrepreneur, and she launched her own brand of home security. She banged pots and pans together to scare them off and arranged a large collection of men's shoes at the door as if the Los Angeles Lakers lived there and not our small Asian family. Talk about low overhead and high product market fit. But outside, a neighbor was shot and killed in a drive-by gang shooting, and not once but twice, my mom, my sister, and I were held up at gunpoint as men sped off with our car. For me and my family, the one feeling, the one constant in our lives was stress. A deep and all-consuming stress. Think about the last time you were in a stressful situation. Maybe you're arguing with a friend, rushing to meet a deadline, or worse, standing in front of a large audience giving a low keynote. What did it feel like? Maybe your heart pounding, your chest tightening, your breath shortening, your vision blurring, your palms sweating, your ears ringing. This is your body's fight or flight response. In stressful situations, it's designed to protect you by pumping stress hormones like adrenaline and cortisol through your veins to urge you to take action. But when the moment passes, your body settles back down and you go about the rest of your day. But when life is just one big stressful situation, your body never gets the memo to calm down. It remains in overdrive, pumping you full of stress hormones until after a while, they stop protecting you and they start to poison you. This is a little-known clinical condition called toxic stress. Unlike typical stress, toxic stress has 4 defining features. It is severe, relentless, inescapable, and prolonged over years. While adults can certainly experience it, it's most damaging when it impacts children. Children who grow up in poverty or violence, children who are forgotten in the shadows of abuse or the devastation of war, children who have no power to escape. Toxic stress rewires their developing brains, weakens their immune systems, disrupts daily learning, relationships, and emotional regulation, and it sets them up for a lifetime of both mental and physical health challenges. My parents, they didn't find resilience through hardship. My dad's childhood trauma festered into unhappiness, rage, and violence. My mom felt it in her body in the form of chronic headaches, fatigue, swollen ankles, and arthritis. And when I was in college, she was diagnosed with endometrial cancer, an aggressive disease that is closely linked to chronic stress. And after a couple of years, she was gone. Stories like my mom and dad's aren't rare. They're written every single day, and they unfold in the lives of millions. In California alone, 1 in 3 children experience toxic stress from at least one source. And it follows them into adulthood, driving our nation's high rates of mental illness, substance abuse, suicide, diabetes, heart disease, cancer, and more. and they compound the vicious cycles of poverty, homelessness, and violence. These are all issues we spend billions of dollars on every single year, fighting these losing battles because the damage has already been done. When we connect these dots, it's clear. Toxic stress is one of the largest and most expensive social and public health crises our nation faces today. This sucks. How do we fix it? Obviously, the best way to fix it is by reducing poverty, hunger, and violence. But while we're doing that, in the meantime, if we can't prevent it, let's at least treat it. For the past 5 years, I've worked in the United States healthcare system. And while I've seen its flaws, I've also seen the tools that we have at our disposal. Let's start treating toxic stress like the public health crisis that it is, and mobilize our healthcare system to address it. How do we do that? Are we ready? Step 1, formalize it. When you go to the doctor's office with asthma, your doctor knows exactly what to do. Our national medical system provides formal guidelines for screening, treatment, diagnosis, and billing, so insurance will pay for it. But when a child goes in with toxic stress, there is nothing. We need to formalize toxic stress into our medical systems, just like any other serious medical condition. Step 2, diagnose it. Our healthcare system has decided that every child's doctor's visit must include the following essentials: a measure of your height and weight, a test to see whether you can see a bunch of tiny little letters from really far away, and that dreaded question on sexual history, the one you all lie about because your parent is right there. So why aren't we measuring for toxic stress? Without it, children are too often misdiagnosed with ADHD, anxiety, depression, or just plain behavioral problems, and then sent off to therapy or with medication that solves their symptoms, but not their underlying root causes. It's like icing a sprained ankle while the ankle is still stuck in a bear trap. Step 3, treat it. The key to treating toxic stress is to give a child enough safety and stability so that their fight or flight responses can calm down. Doctors can recommend more sleep, medication, meditation, exercise, and more, and loop in social workers to provide housing, job, and food support. And most importantly, give kids access to safe spaces where they can just be kids. Places like arts, music, sports, sciences, and other recreation. It's time for a holistic treatment approach that's not just therapy and not just medication. So, in summary, formalize it, diagnose it, and treat it. But here's the exciting part. California is already doing it, and it works. Since 2019, California has trained over 35,000 clinicians to recognize and treat toxic stress. And it's screened over 1.5 million kids. And the results have been tremendous. Over 25% of children have seen an increase in improvement in their symptoms. So, toxic stress is identifiable and it's treatable. Let's just take this nationwide. But if you don't work in healthcare, don't worry, I haven't forgotten about you. Let's just start with awareness. Don't minimize real and systemic hardships. Don't treat them like gifts of resilience. They're heavy and they shape us, often in ways that don't make us stronger. And those who survive are doing only just that, surviving. For my parents, it was too late. But as for me, don't worry, I'm rewriting my own story. And with the right changes to our healthcare system, we can help rewrite the stories of millions of children. Let's not let toxic stress take the pen. I, for one, want to live in a world where our children's stories of struggle do end in triumph. Thank you.